Hey everybody, it's Rory from ANSgear. We got a little treat up on the table. The brand new Luxe IDOL Mech frame. We've got one here. We're gonna shoot one. We're gonna put one on a gun. We're gonna open it up and we're gonna show you what's going on. Show you what you get right here. So let's get to it. Let's do a little zoom. All right, so we've got our IDOL right here. We're gonna throw this frame on this one in just a second. So I'm just gonna slide that off to the side a little bit. Here we go. You can see the back right here. That's what you got going on. We've got our frame right here. Cool thing about the frame, it's got the new IDOL bottom to it, so it's got the same ASA, the IDOL ASA on the bottom. Plus, it comes with another one of the transfer tubes right here. So this little jobby right here, which transfers the air coming up through the frame into the gun, you get an extra one already installed. So you don't need to pull the one out and put it into this one when you're switching back and forth. You've already got the extra one in there already, so you're not having to swap any parts at all, just solenoids into the gun right there. Couple things about the new frame. The trigger guard right here, they've made the trigger guard as big as possible, but still within the rules for the Mech frame setups or Mech competition right there. So this is as big as the trigger guard is allowed to be and still be within the rules. The front of the trigger is really, really flat. And that might look a little weird and a little uncomfortable right off the jump right there. But trust me, it is super comfortable to shoot. It's really, really cool. It's really wide. So it goes almost to like the edge of the trigger guard itself right there. And it is really nice to push on right there. So it's definitely something you got to check out and see there. So yeah, let's open up the inside. The lever assembly on the inside is stayed pretty much the same. But we're going to open it up just so you can see what's going on in there, because there is, like on the other frames, an adjustment in there that you can make, which is kind of cool. All right, so let's open this up. So we've got this spring that's inside there, and when you activate this, it pulls the spring up. So inside here is kind of a lever that goes up, down, up, down, up, down, and it's going to push on. You can see it moving right through that little window right there. Boop, boop, boop. So the solenoid's going to stick in through the top, and the spool's going to stick down. So when you pull the trigger, that end of the lever is going to push against the spool and activate it inside there. So we can control how much tension is on that lever inside there with this spring. And we can move this spring to all these different settings right here. So if you want the least amount of tension on it, the least amount of pull, we can put it to the highest setting right there, which gives us the least amount of stretch on our spring. Or we can stretch it all the way down to the bottom, which is going to give us the most stretch, which is going to make it the stiffest when we're trying to pull through right there. So you have a lot of adjustment points right there, and you can kind of just set it how you want it to be on there. If you want it to be super soft, you want it to be super heavy, whatever you want to do, you can adjust it right there. Plus, we've got all the other adjustments on there, trigger start, trigger stop, activation point, all those things is all adjustable inside of there. Safety on the side, right here. But I wanted to show you that inside right there, because that's pretty cool. I like that. I like having that option for adjustment. Will people use it? Will everybody use it? No, probably not. But I like having it there. All right. So we've got those in there. We've got a little baggie here with our parts. And flip that over. So we got a couple O-rings inside of there, but also we've got this. So this is the new valve that goes in there, and it's a turbo valve right there. So this is a new version of the valve, the Mech frame valve, and it has a redesigned spool inside there. So they say it's 50% shorter than it was before, so it's giving you a faster trigger, a crisper trigger, making it really hard to short stroke. So if you like to set that activation right on the point of go, you can do that and get full cycles out of this without having to really worry about half or short stroking or chopping right there. So they've redesigned the spool to make the trigger throw as short as possible, or trigger action as small as possible. And they've also redesigned the recharge, or modified the recharge rate, so you've got more airflow going through, so the bolt returns to a rest position, a ready to shoot position, faster than it did before, so you can achieve those higher rates of fire right there. So that's the new turbo valve. Now this valve will be available for purchase by itself. So if you have an ERA, an AMP, or a TM40, you'll be able to, and you have the Mech frame for it, you'll be able to pick up this turbo valve and install it in there to get the latest performance out of your Mech frame for those guns. So AMP, ERA, and TM40. But it comes in the Mech frame for the IDOL already. If you have those other ones, you'll be able to pick them up. All right, so we've got our turbo valve, we've got our frame, we've got our gun. Let's put it in there. I'm just going to kind of move these over to the side so that we're not in the way. We're going to take our barrel off. If you're wondering what color this is right here, this is a chromatic lime, an exclusive color at ANSgear. All right, so we're going to need to pull our frame off. So first thing we need to do, take our bolt out right there. Then we can lift and snap and wiggle on out. Now we talked about our transfer tube right here. We do not need to pull this one out and put it into our Mech frame because the Mech frame comes with one in it already. So all we need to do is just bring our Mech frame over and get it ready to be put in. Now let's flip this upside down, undo our lever, pull our solenoid out. When we take our solenoid out, we want to be very careful that the O-rings that sit on the manifold right here are not, they don't fall out or they don't come out with the solenoid. If they do, make sure you put them back in and make sure they are fully seated into their little pocket so that when we go to put our Mech valve in, those O-rings are there to seal against those holes right there, and they're not like half out of their pocket and then we crush them with the solenoid or the valve when we try to put it in. So make sure that our lever is all the way back. There's a little bar, you can kind of see it right there. This little silver bar at the top. And there's a notch on the manifold right there. That bar is going to go into that notch. So you kind of come in at an angle, make sure our O-rings are in the right spot, and make sure that that bar fits into the notch right there. And then we're just going to lift our lever up. Now one thing I'll remind you guys is when you're lifting this lever up, to make sure that the lever stays down like this. If we just grab the lever and we start to rotate, this linkage right here can start to walk itself up a little bit. So we want to make sure that we keep that down, and as we rotate, this bar stays straight across. If you see it starting to go up like that, push down on the arm to make sure that it seats all the way down. And there we go. We've got our valve installed. It's that easy. Then we can take our frame, come over here, push it in, lock, lock, bolt, in, and done. All right, so a couple things while this is on. The grips, new textured grips on side there. This is a standard 1911 style grip, so if you have like aftermarket 1911 grips, you can put them on there. If you have like wood ones or you want to customize your own, you can. Back right here, it's, you know, this doesn't pop off like the original one does because there's no need to put a battery in there or anything. There's no screen on it or anything. So this is solid on the back. It does not come apart, but it does have some texturing on the back right there. So it's going to be comfortable against your hands. And then we've got that nice flat trigger on there, and it's super awesome. So let's go ahead and take this outside and shoot it and let you guys see what the Mech frame for the brand new IDOL is all about. All right, we're outside with the Idol here. We got our Mech frame on it. We were looking at it upstairs, and so now we're downstairs to give it some rips outside. We have our paint inside there, stock barrel on it, and we're ready to just go ahead and shoot. So Mech frame, the brand new Mech frame for the Idol. Here we go. Gonna do some semi or single, some slow shots here. Trigger is super smooth, ultra soft right there. And we talked about that spring setting inside there. You can make it stiffer, you can make it lighter, whatever you want to do. That's real buttery right there. Now, because the trigger is wider, they've flattened it out. You can technically get 2 fingers in there, but there's a good chance that you might do some chopping right there if you get that short stroke. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna see how we do. Ooh, we broke one right there. But you can really rip some paint out of there if you get it just right. It's really gonna charge right there. Woo! Out of paint right there. But if you're looking to rip some paint, you want that Mech frame, check the Idol out right there. Mechanical frame for the Idol. It's brand new. It's available at ANSgear.com.